New Year, Old Me. I came up with that title because sometimes you have to recognize some of the old ways that helped you achieve certain goals and revisit it in order for you to level it up. And I'm on a mission because I have been really feeling stagnant, and I really thought about how I wanted the new year to be, how I want it to manifest everything that I've ever wanted. And sometimes going back can push you forward. I'm about to go to the gym, but we're going to talk about this in a few minutes. Sometimes the key to leveling up isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before you settled for this present moment. Change is always good, but you can look to your past to level you up to a future that you are inspired, you are motivated, and you are proud of. Let's get it. Been going through a mental, what's it called, a new revision of the life that I have been living. And it made me think of how, when we think about when we were living our best lives, whether it's, we graduated from college, or we got our very first job, or we moved to the city that we've always wanted to live in. And we remember how our energy, our fearlessness, our, just how we really thought about how we were moving. Like, it was always, you let your dreams like dictate how you were moving. And as time goes by, you are like, oh my God, I remember when I wanted to be this, but I chose that. I remember, you're thinking about all of these different things about how, those were like some of the best years of your life, good or bad. So, the new year is starting and everybody is like, oh, new year, new me. But for me, I am thinking about new year, old me. Because when I think about all of the opportunities that I've had and all the things that I, just did without any kind of, thought process on how it would, happen, that's when I felt the most inspired. That's when I felt the most desired. That's when I really, really, truly thought and knew that I was that girl. So over the last couple of months, I've really been, having conversations with myself. And I realized that, there were two really important times in my life that really changed how I did things. My very first thing was I moved out of my old town. Now, I don't know if you were ever raised military, but in that town, there's only one kind of objective. You marry a military man and you have you some babies and you be eating. But I knew that my life was supposed to be something different because, one, I never really checked for the military men except for, when you out with your friends and there ain't nothing to do and there's somebody who want to spend something on you, you was with it. But anywho, moving out of the town was like one of the best decisions that I've made, because if I would have did that, I would have been staying at my mama's house. I would have just been living my whole best life, but I never would have grown. I never would have grown to even have the idea to start a vegan brand, or I probably wouldn't even have been vegan. I know I wouldn't have been vegan because Waffle House knew my name. Waffle House knew my name. McDonald's knew my name. Everybody knew my name. But it took me having, the fearlessness to believe that I didn't want to be stuck in a small town where, I settled for good enough. And so I moved out, moved to Atlanta. Atlanta was, what a time. What a time. What a time, child. What a time. But anyway, so the next time that it was like really like a fearlessness move was when I, moved home to take care of my mother, but I still was like, oh, New York ain't finished with me yet. I'm gonna do all that I can to, make my mark. And when I got back here, I was just like, any means necessary. I didn't care, blah, 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 blah. But the one thing that hindered me was, even though I thought it was the best thing about me, being fearless and just being like, oh, I'm out of here if this doesn't fit, my mom used to always call me Gypsy. Always used to call me Gypsy. And she would say, you need to settle down. You need to settle down. You need to. And, after a while, you think about when certain things aren't happening, you're like, well, maybe I need to change who I am. Mind you, my whole life, I've moved, I've traveled, but for some reason, I thought, and I started to move like, Angela, maybe you need to settle down. Maybe you need to. And, the last couple of months, it really came to a head like, Angela, you followed somebody else's thought process of what you were supposed to be doing, and you've been miserable. You have been miserable. And that was my aha moment. And once I really started to dissect that, I thought about how I, went about, being here in New York City, and how, everybody's like, oh, you got to grind. You got to do all these different things. Me taking, different jobs that, in hindsight, yeah, it was a good time. But, I also made it kind of harder. Because I was stuck in the mindset that, okay, Angela, you just need to just sit still and just be, because, all kinds of thoughts come into your head. You're just like, well, my mom always said I was a gypsy, my mom, or, the other people, I realized that I was living my life according to what I thought was going to be and what was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And when I think about it, it's like, if you were a fish and you were used to being in the water, but someone told you you had to learn how to walk. Yes, you're going to learn how to walk, but it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be not your nature. You know what I'm saying? So, I was just like, why have I been feeling so out of place? Like, why have I been feeling, yeah, I've been accomplishing a lot of these great things. And yes, on the outside looking in, but my spirit wasn't right. And I remember like last year, this time, a voice was like, Angela, you need to cut your hair. You need to cut your hair. So I shaved off all my hair, and I was still wearing wigs and carrying on and blah, blah, blah. Fast forward, my hair was damaged. Like, it was starting to thin. Well, it's starting to thin. And I still was like, oh, I'ma still, whatever hair I got left, I'ma fry it, dye it, and lay it to the side. Child. The voice came back to me the other day. Well, not the other day. The voice came back to me like a week ago. And it was like, Angela, you need to rest. And I was just like, rest? I got so much to do. I got this and this. But the voice said rest. And to start taking care of yourself. Because there was a time in my life where I took really good care of myself. And when I say really good care of myself, I took really good care of myself. Like, I made sure I had my clothes together. I made sure that I was popping. You hear me? You couldn't tell me nothing. The other day, I went into the store. I forgot how to shop. Because I've just been so like tunnel vision, trying to adapt and trying to, show that I can, not be all over the place and be this, particular person. And finally, my spirit said, Angela, think about the times when you really was thriving. Like you were really in your stuff. Your hair was doing it. You was doing it. It was, just think about that time. And I was just like, you know what? Why am I doing this to myself? The old me was not, the old me was her. The old me was her. The old me was her, and I loved her. Like, I had a sense of confidence that was like, please, please, who, but not me. And I was just like, you know what? Then I got to thinking about, when was there a time where I really had time to just be, quiet and just be in my bag? When was I really on the rhythm and the frequency of like getting shit done? COVID made me feel like, Angela, it's now or never. You better start your brand if that's what you're going to do. You better get in shape if that's what you're going to do. COVID gave me a glimpse of how my life should be, will be, and what I desired. When we were in COVID, all we did was eat good. We ate clean because we wasn't out there just spending money frivolously in the restaurants and carrying on. And we were getting fresh air every day. We was in that park. And mind you, I ain't never been to the park like that. Never. I think at the time that I lived in my neighborhood for over, 5-6 years. No, let me take that back. At that time, it was probably like, I don't know. It was probably like 5 years. But we were in that park getting it in. I lost about 20 pounds during COVID. I was getting it in. I was going to the park twice a day. I started my brand. Like, my inspiration and motivation was at an all-time high. Like, I wasn't thinking about nothing. And they provided funds for us where we could pretty much do whatever we wanted to. But I chose to be like, you know what? We'll never get this time again where we could just focus on ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Never get that time again where we can just focus on ourselves. So, the last couple days or the last couple months, I've really been thinking about when I was my best or becoming my best. I'll put it like that. I've really been thinking about it. And, I liked me. I always liked me. Now, there's certain aspects of my life where I'm just like, girl, let's wrap this up. This starving artist, that this self-imposed prison that you put yourself in is not cute no more. It's not cute. And so I was just like, you know what? Bump a new year, new me. This is new year, old me, but leveled up. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm going to get back to basics. I'm going to get back to basics when I really was giving it the business. So now I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go get my hair trimmed. And during COVID, I had a regimen for my hair. Like, I was like, every Saturday morning, I was deep conditioning, Ayurvedic. My curls was popping. My hair was thriving. Please. So I was like, you know what, Angela? That's what we're going to do. Clear out all the noise. Clear out all what you was doing, because it's obvious that it didn't yield all of the results that you wanted. So I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. So first thing, I made a contract with myself. And I wrote down all of the things that I want to accomplish in the next 177 days, because that's when my birthday is, and I love a good deadline. Because I said I will no longer disappoint and treat myself like I'm not her. So I said, you know what? I'm going to break it down. I'm going to make sure I get my physical together. I'm going to make sure, and that means I am putting working out as a priority. I already started. Like, I'm 5 weeks in already, where I've been getting up at 5 a.m., going to the gym. The first 2 hours is dedicated to me and what I got going on. Yes, ma'am. I said I was going to wear my natural hair out and give it time to understand that I love it. Because I have, I can do this. I've been, making up the excuse of convenience, but it ain't going to be convenient if you bald headed. Worrying about this, that, and the third. But, I went last night and got my hair trimmed. So now I'm going to be starting my let me get my hair together journey. Get the products, make sure I'm loving on it each week. I got the things that I need where I don't have to be in a salon spending obscene amount of money for no reason. Then I'm getting my wardrobe back together. Because when I say I walked up into that store and I was looking like, am I supposed to be here? I didn't find no motivation. I didn't find any kind of inspiration to be buying something, because I haven't been going out. And that's another thing. I haven't been social like I should be social. Because that was one of the things that I was used to doing. And I was just like, okay. I wrote down this list that I'm going to get accomplished. And I'm cutting down on social media. Like, I was watching, I forgot who I was watching on here, and she was talking about how, she's given herself 6 months to really change her life. And she was just, when you are wanting to make a big change, you always have to assess, how things got to where it is, where you're just like, this is this is not the business. And she was like, she checked on how much screen time she used, and she gagged. She gagged. So, you know me, I looked at my screen time and I was like, Angela, Yvonne, you tried it. Because the time that you are spending scrolling, looking at somebody's life who already got and put in the work, that's time you've taken away from you being that girl. Because you can't be that girl and you looking at somebody else's plate. That don't even make sense. That don't even make sense. So I said, you know what? Sometimes you have to go through extremes. So I said, I'm going to limit the time that I'm on social media to about an hour. Now, if I'm in the gym, like on the Stairmaster or something like that, and I'll scroll through whatever, that's cool. But just sitting at the house, going, scrolling, carrying on, no ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am. I got my planning together for the content I want to put out, because my goal is to monetize, and my goal is to get noticed by brands. And if I'm sitting up there looking at people who already have that stuff, when am I going to have time to batch content create? When am I going to have time to be inspired by different content I want to show? So, ixnay on the social media unless I'm posting. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get back to the get back. You gotta get back to the get back. Another thing, I was so like, oh, I gotta stay here in New York because it's the number one space. New York is gonna be here. But what's not gonna be here is you living your whole best life and you trying to stay stagnant. You trying to stay and it ain't served you in a period of time. So I'm going to be looking into that, getting up out of here, but if it's meant for me to be here, because I do love my city, I do love it, but I no longer want to sacrifice happiness for shenanigans. Because old me would have been gone. Old me would have been like, adios, adios. One of my good friends was like, I don't even know why you still here. I don't even know why you still here. I was like, because I'm a glutton for punishment, child. A glutton for punishment. And then if you got the funds, you can go anywhere you want to go. But you can't get the funds and you unhappy. You can't get the funds and you allowing things to occur that wouldn't occur if you loved yourself. I'm telling you, I've gotten a huge awakening, a huge revelation. This is, I'm going to do me. That's what this era is. I'm going to do me, child. And I'm going to do it like I ain't never, I'm going to do it where I'm going to be looking at myself like, oh, so that's what you mean, girl? I ain't going to be sitting around complaining about nothing. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We about to get this shit tightened up. Tightened up. Yes, ma'am. And on my free days, I ain't going to be sitting up in this house. I'm going to pop my tail up in one of these cute little coffee working spaces. They have them all over Brooklyn. But I'll be up in the house. But nope. Nope. No, ma'am. No more. We ain't doing that, honey. This is going to be a full turnaround. And it started today. Like, new me, Old me, that's what I'm on. New me, no, new year, old me, but leveling up. Leveling up my old me, because my old me got me this far. But now, we need to step on this gas. We need to step on this gas, honey. Because, no ma'am. No ma'am. There ain't nothing wrong with your old me. You just gotta level her up. Because now if your old me is trash and it haven't served you, then yes, you do need a yes, you do need a new year, new me. But for me, I thrived. And I let her go because I was, trying to be what someone thought I'm supposed to be. But we ain't doing that no more. No ma'am. So I'm about to sit underneath this dryer. I'm glad I got my stuff so my hair can be whatever, and however it turn out is however it's going to turn out. But we're going to get this healthy all around, mentally, physically, financially. Yeah, it's go time.